What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is another edition of the Front Stretch Happy Hour program. We got a spectacular guest on this program, but before we dive on into it, let's dive on into our guys that are our normal guys. And we got both of them here. Last week, Mr. Dalton Hopkins, you were somewhere with a lightsaber in Disneyland World, the universe. I don't know any of that. I've already left. Oh God, he's already gone. We're like 10 seconds.
Don't worry, Bryan. We'll make an introduction with the lightsaber. Don't worry about it.
Oh, heck
Continue.
At Pit Lane CPT with the brand new lightsaber, Mr. Dalton Hopkins. Dalton, show us your lightsaber.
Ah, yes. There you go.
If Luke Skywalker took that long to get his lightsaber out, he'd be dead.
Okay, Skywalker didn't have a sheath, all right? His light went right. He just had it attached to his belt. I have no such thing, okay? I am a very poorly trained Jedi. I am probably about the trailer park version of Jedi as you can get. So that is, but there it is, folks. Yeah, I was holding a lightsaber last week, so sorry, but I'm back. I'm here now.
Let's be honest, you're not sorry at all, but that's okay.
I'm not.
Okay,
I'm really not.
Okay, but we're happy to have you back. The boss man Tom Bulls filled in for you. Did a serviceable job. So a guy that also does a serviceable job each and every single week. At M_Massie22, he was sick, so he couldn't do a song this week, but he decided he wasn't sick enough that he could not come on to the program. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit better. Mike, how are you, bud?
I'm doing good. I guess the only show and tell I got, I grabbed this out, Will Power, in honor of his ending tenure with Penske. But who's rocking the drums there, Tootsies, and that was awesome to see. But yeah, it was good. I was at Darlington this weekend. Taylor was there as well. Dalton was there, but in the grandstands and not covering it. And yeah, I got to cough and sneeze all over
right next
Taylor.
to me too. Yeah.
You seem like you're doing okay though. So
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's a good time, but that's how dedicated I am. You know, to work to pull through that. And yeah, the voice is still a little scratchy. I thought about trying to maybe do like an Aerosmith thing or some I don't know, Pearl Jam or something that while I'm all sick sounding, but we don't need all that right now.
Honestly, fair enough. Let's bring in our guest, though. We decided to have her on. She's been on before on the previous era. Now, this era, she's coming on. And she actually just has started a new job. She's the new social media talent producer for motorsports.com. She does a plethora of stuff. She has her own basically multimedia world at AboveTheYellowLine.com. Taylor Kitchen joins the program. Taylor, you guys are doing a lot of work over there. Thank you so much. My first question for you, how do you have all the time to do like 18 different jobs?
No sleep, and
fair.
Eating during meetings is a big thing too, for sure.
Okay.
What's great about this opportunity with motorsport is it kind of consolidates my focus a little bit. So it's allowing me to kind of combine my efforts into kind of one. And of course, with that, I'm still, keeping up above the Yellow Line media and really happy that, I'm able to kind of do both. But yeah, it's literally today was my first day. So a lot of learning and, but no, it's been cool to announce and see the reception of it. But, my gosh, yeah, time just doesn't exist. You got to find creative ways to make time.
I trust me. I think everybody tries to get more and more time, but it flies by. But yeah, you guys are doing some awesome stuff. Matt Weaver, I saw, just joined motorsports.com. So you guys are the stonks are going way up. Let's just dive on into our topics of this week. We'll start with our guest, Taylor. What did you want to talk about on tonight's program?
Well, I know there's going to be a lot of playoff talk during the show tonight, I'm sure. So I kind of wanted to focus in on a few drivers that weren't or aren't in the playoffs, talking about Legacy Motor Club and talking about AJ Allmendinger, all with top 5 finishes, right? So very impressive there. I think for Legacy Motor Club, the point I wanted to bring up here was like beginning of the year. Obviously, it was like, okay, can they turn it around? Because last year just was abysmal for them all. And so having Jimmy, back in the United States, more present with the team, knowing that they're getting, I guess, better hit training. I'm using the 2311 facilities to kind of do that. Like they've stepped it up, bringing in people like Trevor Bayne and things like that. Like they've put in the effort and the work in the off season, and it's showing for the most part this season, especially with John Hunter Nemechek. So it was great to see the results there, especially for Eric Jones, who we know is great at Darlington. And then, of course, for AJ Allmendinger for Colleague Racing, to have that result with him was very impressive for me. I think AJ's done decently well the past like 2-3-ish weeks. So just good to see there. But I wanted to highlight that because I know we're going to get kind of in the nitty gritty with the playoff guys, but that's my topic.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Trevor Bayne, because that actually completes the weekend. Like they had, if you count Trevor Bayne as a legacy guy as well, they all got top fives, and that's pretty cool to see. And it's a little too little, too late for legacy. And AJ, at one point he was in the playoffs, early in the season. And I'm just not really sure what happened in the middle of the year. And oddly enough, it was the road courses that kind of really set him back, which you would think would be his strength. But now, is he more of an oval guy than a road course guy? Because all his top fives are coming at ovals, it seems, these days. But good runs for them. If you could have actually passed in the Southern 500 Sunday night, I think Eric Jones would have won the race and got himself a third Southern 500. And it does need to be said that, of course, they're good at Darlington. Like, that's a track where both those drivers in Jones and Nemechek are very talented. I want to see it carry over. Let's see it. Which they've had a couple good runs now. Jones has back-to-back top fives, but let's keep building this momentum. I think, like you said, Jimmy Johnson moving back to the country was huge for this team, because we saw Stewart-Haas Racing. When Tony Stewart was away, things kind of started to decline a little bit. So I think that I picked early in the year, we did predictions. I'm pretty sure one of my predictions was that Legacy would win a race this year. I don't know that that's going to happen, but I'm going to go ahead and predict it next year. They'll win a race next year. What do you think, Dalton?
I think you fired all your bullets when it comes to LMC potential race wins. I think Talladega might be your last chance there. I don't know. Even there, like, I'm not so sure about. But you got close this weekend. We were joking before we started the podcast. We were joking about, or I was joking, I should say, that I was in the stands this weekend. And when Reddick was right behind Briscoe in that last lap, heading into turn 3, I was saying to myself, he's going to send it. He's going to send it underneath the 19 car, and he kind of did. He's going to send it. He's going to wreck both of them. He's going to take them both out. Again, Reddick's going to ruin that race for Chase Briscoe. And then Eric Jones is going to go on and win Southern 500. That did not happen. But the fact that we were that close to something like that occurring really goes to show how much LMC has improved this year, and to see JHN have a similarly great race, much like Jones did in the exact same race, also goes to show that those guys have really figured out a track that is, let's face it, extremely difficult to figure out. It's a perfectly unique track, extremely oblong. It has absolutely there's no comparison to really any other track that I can think of off the top of my head. So if the fact that they can do that, the fact that they can perform well at a difficult racetrack like that goes to show that a track that rewards veteran race car drivers goes to show that they have two drivers that are extremely capable. And like Massie, I'm very excited about their future. It's exciting to me to see Legacy finally performing the way we all thought they were going to perform way back in, I think it was it 23? We all thought when that officially happened. So when that rebrand occurred, so we all thought that was going to occur then, and it didn't. So I'm happy to see them do well. And I do want to mention AJ Allmendinger. as well. And Massie, I just went ahead and checked. Like, yeah, both of his top fives this year have come from ovals. It was Charlotte earlier this year, and then of course Darlington this past weekend. So I don't know. It's kind of strange how AJ just suddenly seems like a more well-rounded racer, and he's not only a road course ringer. Although if he was as dominant on the road courses as he used to be, I think he'd be in a much better position points-wise. But that's just me. Still, though, I'm excited. I'm happy to see Kaulig doing better as well this year than they were last year. Bryan, we haven't heard your sweet, sultry voice on this subject.
Hey, Sugar Plum, how are you, buddy?
I already regret this.
No, hey, you're the one that asked. No,
Putting in the show now.
I know that Steve, our guy Steven Stump, is our stats guy, but I brought some stats with me. Don't worry, Steven. You trust me. You have more stats than I will ever know in my
Steven is
life.
literally shaking and crying right now.
Literally, he is about to hide in the corner, about to tear up. So don't worry, don't cry, Steven. I'm not taking your job. But for Eric Jones, the last 2 seasons he's had 9 top 10s. He's had 5 just this year alone. He's had 4 top 5s. And I mean, I definitely see them going in the right direction, kind of what you guys were saying when Jimmy moving back to the States. But the big thing is for me, John Hunter Nemechek, 14 career top 10s. 7 of the 14 have come this year alone. He's got 2 top 5s. Obviously, he's not contending for wins week in and week out, but I mean, it's still a very, very serviceable job. Obviously, last year there was rumors he could be getting replaced. I think it was heading into the Las Vegas weekend. Massie, we were hearing some stuff. Obviously, that did not come to fruition. But I think Legacy is going up and up, and obviously there's been rumors for a third car with them. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think having Jimmy there and everything, I think they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Massie, it looked like you were about to say something.
No, I was wondering whether I should comment on the third car or not. I do know that Freddie Kraft said on Dorm Over Clear this week that there was the rumor of them joining with Haas, and now that appears dead in the water. That it's not going to happen, and that might transition us to, I don't know what our next topic is, but it might transition us to a next topic where them getting a third charter might come down to a lawsuit with Rick Ware Racing. And is that a good transition, Bryan?
I love it. You're making me smile, my friend. Let's transition on over, buddy. What is your dive on into that, buddy?
All right. So last week they had another hearing. This one, I mean, it was just about the getting the charters back for this year. NASCAR, whether or not they could sell those charters. Apparently, there's a potential buyer that wants to get in, and it was all about hearing for that. The decision for that should be later this week. But that was not the juicy part of it. The juicy part was the discovery part, where several messages were, revealed through this whole thing, including some of the stuff we can't say on air, but Michael Jordan calling Joe Gibbs and other team owners certain words that start with an F and a P.
What are those words? I don't understand.
I think
Bryan, you most certainly understand. you have the dirtiest mind of anybody here.
I think fun and pal.
Okay. Cool.
Fun pals.
Yeah.
He said the other owners are all their pals. And then Denny said that that he deeply despises the France family, which hey, he's in a lawsuit against them. Of course he does. Like that, I don't think that was a big reveal. And Loletta had something about it'll get better when Jim France dies. I'm paraphrasing there. And then, but the NASCAR stuff was kind of revealing as well. We learned about the gold code, where if they didn't if the owners didn't sign, then they would apparently field their own teams or use the Xfinity and truck teams to compete. And I think that got a pretty negative reaction online from what I saw. And just some of the stuff, like from Steve Phelps, Steve O'Donnell, like just where it's the stuff like we're sending it out, they sign it and lose the charters. O'Donnell was actually like defending the teams to his credit. But yeah, I just what are your big takeaways? Taylor, we can start with you. What of all the stuff that came out, like what's your big takeaway of it?
Well, I think the other thing too is that NASCAR was like, we got to figure out something with Speedway Motorsports because, like,
yeah. Sorry.
So, no, you're good because, like, the thought process there was like, if the teams are like, okay, we want to do like a kart situation where we do a split and they try to make their own series, we want to make sure we have the IP of the Gen 7 car, which they have. We want to make sure that we have ownership of all the tracks, which in that case that they were trying to do with the gold code, they would have, which would impede anyone's ability to create a competitor series or just to do something where they feel they have their own set of values, essentially. The other thing I did take away from it too, it was when you said like Steve O'Donnell like was defending the teams in a way, like Steve Phelps kind of did too, but they realized part of it was wrong. Like the deal that they ended up giving the teams, that the FU deal essentially was wrong. But you know, at the end of the day, NASCAR sent the teams what they sent the teams. It's interesting. I think when Judge Bell was like, if you think that there's a clear winner to this case, there's not, and basically urging the teams to settle out of court because everything's going to go public December 1st, and nothing's going to be the same with NASCAR after that. Whether the teams win or lose, whether NASCAR wins or loses, nothing will be the same. I think we're going to see a very, very different NASCAR in 2026. I do not think with the animosity between the two sides, we're going to see anyone settling. And I think my takeaway is that this is messier than I think we thought and uglier than I think we thought was my takeaway.
Yeah. For me, there's a couple things. First off, for everybody saying that they should just settle, these two types or these two guys battling each other hate each other so much. There's a better chance of one of the four of us winning this $1 billion Powerball that's going to be happening than that settling. Because I mean, you got a guy in Michael Jordan that is willing to give up millions and millions. I mean, he said it in a text message. He's lost more money in a casino than what he's willing to do. And then you got the other side in which we all saw those text messages of Steve O'Donnell, Steve Phelps, and for me, there's a lot of different things. The gold zone, I think it was that was definitely eye opening for me. And then the other one was Michael Jordan said in a text message, teams are going to regret not joining us, and I think that's a big thing because Dan Towers, the majority owner of Spire, talked with Jennifer of the AP on last weekend in Nashville for IndyCar, and he wrote, he told Jenna, and I quote, "We had meetings with the NASCAR brass a few weeks ago, and it was like, how can we help? What we saw in court, what was released in this case, is very inconsistent with what they, NASCAR, say privately, and so I need to understand, who am I dealing with? Which one is it? Is it the people we meet with privately, or is what you say when we are not around?" End quote. So I mean, we're already starting to get people being like, okay, what's happening? And so obviously, I don't think we're going to see like a Hendrick Motorsports or Gibbs, but like a guy like Justin Marks, is he going to come out and say something? Is a guy like Keselowski, is he going to come out and say something? Because this is just going to get uglier and uglier, Dalton. I think sure, we got the championship in Phoenix and everything, but come December 1st, Mr. Hopkins, this is going to get ugly, and this is going to get ugly really fast.
I'm hoping it goes to December 1st because I just want to see what happens next.
Same.
Yep.
I want to know. I want to know what juicy details Denny Hamlin is trying to tease here, but I digress. This is what happens when you have, and I remember I was talking to Ed Lane about this like last year, going way back. But like I think we are looking at again what occurs when an immovable object meets an unstoppable force, and those two, I mean, in Michael Jordan being an unstoppable force, and then NASCAR being an immovable object. Michael Jordan's not going to stop, and I think you guys already mentioned it. Michael Jordan, he's got more money than God. He has the determination of multi-time NBA champion, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the specific number. Not a huge NBA fan, but regardless, the guy is considered the greatest athlete of all time, and he has a very, let's say, infamous competitive nature that is not going to let him back down, and it's going to go to December 1st. It's not going to end. There's not going to be any settlement. Michael Jordan wants to win this. Denny Hamlin wants to win this. He's equally as competitive, I think. So 6 titles. Thank you, Bryan. As he just sent me that note. So sorry to all the potential NBA fans that are watching right now that are cursing my name. Much respect to the greatest. But anyway, this is what occurs at the end of that, and I am very interested to see what happens. And I do think it's a little tragic that it's gotten to this point. As for what is going to come out of it, I agree with Taylor. Regardless of what happens, of who wins, it's going to look like a very different NASCAR come next year. And I think it's kind of a toss-up right now, because according to the judge, it's like she also said, like, this is there's no clear favorite at the moment. And that, to me, is the most alarming part of this, because you would think, after all of the issues that NASCAR has gone through in the last 70 years, all the lawsuits they've had to settle in the last 70 years, NASCAR has come clean with almost all of them. And this one is the one that is probably the most televised, or at least the most covered media-wise. And it's a toss-up between the two. That's kind of terrifying for NASCAR, at least. So I don't know. It's really interesting to see. I think there's some decent cases on either side. For me, as somebody who covers the sport, for me as somebody who has to go to the races, for me as somebody who has to report things that occur at the racetrack, I'm very curious to see what happens out of all of this. And maybe not in a great way, maybe in a bittersweet way, because it's unfortunate this is happening, but it's also like, hey, this is kind of a neat story that's occurring right now. And by the way, before I toss it to somebody else, I just want to say the group chat thing, like everyone crazy reacting about what they said to each other. I said it in our own private group chat. Like, there are worse things that people have said in their own private group chat. Like, are we?
Trust me.
These guys hate each other so much. Are we really that surprised they were saying the things that they were saying? Like, I've seen worse in private group. I've seen worse from this guy right there. Way worse things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dalton and I were joking that if it ends up that Bryan Nolen has text messages to 2311 or to NASCAR gets called into this.
No, please.
Trial will
Jim France and Denny Hamlin will come together and be like, he is our enemy now.
Down this man. Sorry, Taylor.
No, you're good. I just wanted to say, Dalton, to your point, I mean, we talked about like how everything would change. I think I watched Jeff Gluck's kind of
live stream.
Did.
It was awesome.
It was
really
awesome,
good.
Very informative. I think he did it from like an airport, so like props to Jeff Gluck. But the one thing that stuck out to me there too was that Judge Bell was like, if let's say that we do find that NASCAR's monopoly, I can change whatever I want. Like Judge Bell's like, I can make the charters go away. I can make the charters look different. I can do X, Y, and Z. Like he's like, there's a number of things that I could do to make this to where it's not a monopoly, which will have a kind of trickling effect for everyone involved in NASCAR, even like us. And that's what I think I'm starting to realize with this too, is with independent media in general within the sport. How could that look next year, right? There's a lot of media rights deals this year, a lot of paid media deals this year. And to me, it's selfishly, it's like, how is that going to look for us? So it's not just for the teams, but it's for all the employees of NASCAR. How does that look for the employees of the teams, the mechanics, the engineers? Like it's going to affect everybody. And I think as we get more and more engrossed in the lawsuit, and especially going to December 1st, I think we're going to realize the weight of what it means going forward. So I think listening to Jeff, I was like, oh, this is bigger than what we thought it was originally. So something that definitely kind of piqued my interest there. So
I will throw out there real quick that it might not be different next year, because there's always the possibility that when you have the court systems, they could appeal. Like if
Oh,
NASCAR loses,
yeah.
they could appeal, and then we might not know the final ruling for like 3 years from now or something. So,
Oh, please no, please God no.
oh, come on. It gives us great like Thursday content. Like keep it going.
2030, the new NASCAR. Get ready for it, guys.
I mean, especially in the wintertime, we're going to have tons of content on frontstretch.com. And I know, Taylor, you guys at motorsport.com is going to have content. I mean, December 1st is going to be awesome. So Kyle Martin says, who will be out with regard to the NASCAR executive leadership if they lose this suit? I don't know, man. It's a fascinating question. If I had to guess, Mr. O'Donnell may be gone, but this is just speculation. I don't know. It could be everybody could be brand new. I mean, you never know. Massie, this could be totally different come 6 months from now.
Yeah, Phelps was rumored to the PGA was coming after him anyways. So I don't know how much longer he'll be in NASCAR to start with, not even talking about the case. Yeah. So yeah, I think there could be some turnover there. And the other thing, Dalton, you mentioned that no one else in the 70 years has challenged them this way. It's because it's the first person to challenge them with pockets as deep as Michael Jordan. As because like Bobby Allison took him to court in the past. Jeremy Mayfield took him to court. But those guys, like they realized they'd run out of money long before NASCAR did. So there's no sense in fighting it. Kyle Martin, any chance Ben Kennedy assumes the mantle over Jim France? I mean, I think that's eventually the plan.
That's going to happen, whether it's 2 years from now or 10 years from now or 25 years from now. I think that is what's going to happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's all I had to say on that. Go ahead, Bryan.
Good point.
I think Dalton, did you have something? I didn't think I had anything. Dalton, I think you're about to say something though. I'll got this.
I don't think I had anything else to introduce. I think the only thing I was just I pretty much was just agreeing with what everyone was saying. I think regardless of what occurs, this is going to be very ugly. It's going, and maybe ugly is not necessarily a bad thing for people who report things for media personnel such as us, because those group chats, as much as I kind of rolled my eyes and thought, okay, well, people will say, of course they're going to say things like that. It is very juicy. It is certainly things that make people raise their eyebrows. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens on December 1st, whether or not it ends right then and there, or if continues on for next 3 years. And Kyle Martin saying the only winners are the billable hours of the attorneys. I've seen that comment so many times. The only winners out of this are going to be attorneys. I'm not so sure about that, because I think if Denny Hamlin gets what he wants, I think if 2311 and FRM win this case, I think they're going to get exactly what they want to. It'll be worth their worthwhiles also.
Also, we don't. Here in the media, we don't pick favorites or anything, but you got to give kudos to Denny Hamlin, because this reminds me of you have that bully in class in elementary school, and finally someone is standing up to that bully. Finally, someone is putting their foot down and saying, no, we're not going to take this. And for the longest time, Massie, you said all those people like Jeremy Mayfield, they went to court against NASCAR and they didn't win. Well, Denny Hamlin's got Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan's got buckets and buckets of cash, and he's willing to go down without a fight, even though he's going to lose millions and millions. So he is basically saying, no, I'm going to stop this bully, whether I lose billions and billions of dollars. I'm going to do whatever it takes. So I think that is very commendable, and you got to give Hamlin credit, because he's not just going to roll over and die.
And you say we don't play favorites, but it would be beautiful if Jim France has to hand a championship ring.
I mean, listen.
Oh my god.
Man.
Okay, no. Look, that's not a favorite because we're certain fans of something. That's a favorite because that is such a funny thing that would occur. That would be so ironic a thing to occur. That's just us being human. Like, you can't help but appreciate the irony in that.
We're here for the comedy.
Exactly.
And it's not just like Denny winning, but if Bubba wins, if Tyler Reddick wins, then they're
Mhm.
giving a trophy to the team that is suing them. I mean, it is perfect. So, you know what was not perfect though? That was turn 1 in Portland on Saturday afternoon. That is how you transition, Mr. Dalton Hopkins. The final race for the time being at Portland International Raceway was absolute chaos coming into the turn number 1. You have the little 1, 2, 3 going in there, and it was absolute calamity. According to the rule book, and there was tons of stuff going on, if you do not make the turn 1 in Portland, you got to stop and then go. I literally paused it to make sure I had the replay here. I'm counting the number of cars that did not go here. I'm looking. Okay, so you got Connor Zilisch, that's 1. You have the 18, that is 2. You have one that just blows by, that's 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 cars that just say, I'm not going to go to stop and go penalty. So my question to the group is, was the rules just out the window when you're going to Portland? Because it felt like Carson Kvapil in 5th, or finished in 6th, should have won this race, because he was the only one that basically went in, did the correct positioning, because the first 4, they missed the corner. They didn't do a stop and go.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point in having a rule book if you don't follow the rules? And this has been a consistent problem in NASCAR the last couple of years, is just officiating. I feel like we've talked about officiating on this show so many times that I'm like tired of talking about officiating. Like I'll never forget 27 minutes at Martinsville, sitting there waiting to find out who's making the championship 4, all because officiating. And look, I think I would guess that the A team was at Darlington and the B team of officiating was at Portland. And it's almost like we've seen it in the past where for these standalone races, they're almost like an afterthought when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I think the A team hasn't been that great. So what's the drop off to a B team? So yeah, it's not that great. And then there's the fact that it's the final race at Portland. I wonder if that adds to it as well, where it's like, we're getting out of here anyway, so who even cares? That let's just let it be. Which in that level, turn 1 wasn't the only problem with Portland. It sounds like there are a lot of other problems as well, and that's the reason they're not going back there. But yeah, I personally I don't like those penalties anyways, because they're so like ball and strike kind of thing. We see somebody go offline by 6 inches and they'll call a penalty on them. Sometimes somebody else has the whole car off and they, way off, and they won't call a penalty. I just wish they would, we need more gravel traps and grass and stuff like that. Natural things like that Austin Hill, Michael McDowell wreck doesn't happen if there's grass out there, because they're not swinging way out there. So that's, I wish we would get away from that. Just make it so that you don't even have to enforce track limits.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to talk about Portland as a whole, I think it's on its own, the announcement of the schedule when they said that, yeah, it's not going to be on the schedule for next year, for 2026, and Portland's going to get rid of it. And then we saw and then Massie kind of alluded to it already, which was the Adam Stern report saying that it's because some of the track amenities were a little bit lackluster. Parts of the track didn't have Wi-Fi, including like pit road, and some of the grandstands or what have you. They don't have some of the modern track amenities that a lot of people can enjoy. And I think, and on top of that, it's also a track that, look, it's not the track's fault. It's the Xfinity Series fault, but it is a track that does promote a chaotic ending, especially when it comes to the Xfinity Series. And so the moment that they made an overtime restart, or they announced it was going to be an overtime restart, everyone knew turn one is going to be an absolute crap show. And that's exactly what we got. And now we have this whole debate about what occurred, about who cut the corner, who didn't, who braked too late, who wrecked who. A fight, or I guess a altercation between Sammy Smith and Nick Sanchez, and that's the result of it going into turn one, because guys just can't keep it in their pants when they go into turn one. So at least this narrow. Well, that's what they can't do. So when they go into this narrow corner, into all of that, to people saying that those are the reasons why Portland just is not on the schedule next year, I say I don't care. I don't care. It is the only track that is in the Northwest right now. If NASCAR wants a presence in a highly populated area such as Seattle or Portland, that is the track you have to go to. And I know there's other places up there, but that is probably the one that's the one that's been the most successful. And the fact that they're just completely doing away with it, I hate it. And I know that it hasn't been all that fantastic in the past. There's been a couple of races that weren't all that great, but I still think the Xfinity Series is the best series we have right now. I mean, that's not an opinion. That's just a fact. Like puts on the best racing, puts on the best competition week after week. And even though Connor Zilisch is just tearing it up at the moment, I think it goes to show how well his talent, or how much talent he has. So this track is really a really good addition to the Xfinity Series. And I know Ben Kennedy, I think he said, we should definitely keep Portland on the calendar, or excuse me, he said something like we hope to continue options for the Northwest or for Portland or whatever in the future. To me, that says we're not going to Portland again. Just shelf it for now. Okay, cool. But still, regarding everything that occurred, this whole mess in turn one, I don't think you can blame Portland, and I think you can probably, when it comes to the NASCAR rule book and things like that, that's NASCAR. Drivers are just going to go crazy, and like I said earlier, they just can't keep it in their pants when there's 2 laps to go, going into turn one, into a 90-degree angle turn one like that track has. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. And how do you enforce it? Because if you enforce it as strictly as other sports do, we're Formula One, and I don't want to be Formula One. I want to be NASCAR. I want a cut and dry rule book, not a what's the word I'm looking for? Not a case by case basis. Taylor, what do you think?
I mean, I also look at where Portland is on the schedule. I mean, it's 2 races, or I guess, right before the playoffs, basically. And it's like these drivers are going to do whatever it takes to get that win, whether it's a win in your in situation. I know a lot of them at the front of the field have already gotten wins this season, but it's, that's extra points that I can use as a buffer when the playoffs start and inevitably something goes wrong. So you look at that case scenario too, but I mean, to Dalton's point, I mean, yeah, you go into turn one, you see it as ooh, maybe I can do something crazy here. And, they're just going to do what they do. But I will say, I mean, the rule book for this, it's a strike and ball call, like Michael said. And I am somebody who's if we're going to enforce track limits, if we're going to make it a thing, enforce it. I know there's some debate as to whether Connor Zilisch really tried to make that turn or not. I don't know. That's up to him to say. Sure. But ultimately, I don't know. I really do like Portland. I think it's a great track. I think, obviously, and I equate this a little bit to Mid-Ohio. I love Mid-Ohio. I thought it was a great track. It was my home track for a bit. But the facility just was not good at all for NASCAR racing at that time. And obviously, Xfinity left and Truck left, and then ARCA was all that was left. So there needs to be some upgrades there. I do hope someday that NASCAR can return to Portland, but it's going to take some serious investment into that track. But all the said around the officiating stuff, I'm kind of officiated out. I'm a little burnt out with all the crap officiating, if I'm being honest. So when I saw this, I was like, it's whatever. It's whatever's going to happen is going to happen. People are going to be butthurt about it online. I'm like, just Connor Zilisch won another one. Not a shocker. But But I guess it is what it is. We're getting close to the playoffs. Last ditch effort for a lot of drivers, and you're going to see crazy stuff like that, and it shouldn't surprise us.
I mean, listen, the best car won, and Zilisch did what he had to do, and if he found a way to get a little bit of a jump, whether it was going in and then doing that little snake and getting out, that if they're not going to call it, might as well take it for him. I mean, more power to him. On the Portland thing, I'm sentimental. I love that track. I love that city. I love that place. It didn't make sense to have them go from Daytona all the way to Portland, then to St. Louis. It just felt like they were just throwing it there just because they had to. But I am gonna miss it. I was reading an article from the Oregonian, and it looks like IndyCar will be going back there next year. So they will have at least IndyCar going there. But I mean, I saw it from the first year. The amenities weren't up to par. I mean, it reminded me of like a K&N West race back in the day. Just the amenities there. I mean, for example, the media center, we were in a tent, an actual literal tent, a big white tent. So it does feel like the olden days.
Hey,
but I mean,
could be worse. You could be in a parking garage.
This is true.
Yeah, Dalton, we have had experiences in parking garages.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. But I will miss it. The track is awesome. Turns 10, 11, 12. That was amazing. I love that place. 1 through 3 is wild. And then it has some great, I'll always remember the rain, the battle in the rain, in which you had like guys like Ty Gibbs and Noah Gragson the very first year, and then Jesse Owuji spins Ty Gibbs from the lead. I'll never forget that. Shout out Jesse Owuji there. But I'll miss it. Hopefully they come back. But like Dalton says, they need to do something in Pacific Northwest, whether it's Seattle, whether it's Portland, anywhere that would. I'll even compromise and have them go to Denver. But something in the vicinity of the mountain or the Pacific Northwest, that'd be my option. Massie, I know that you're an East Coast guy, but you got something.
Street race in Boise. You want that?
Hell to the yeah, baby. Everybody
street race in the potato fields next to Bryan Nolen's house.
Everybody can come room with me, my wife, and my dogs. You may have some Frenchies, some French bulldogs cuddling up to you in the morning, but hey, it's free, okay? So, but hell to the yeah, baby. Let's go.
If you love Portland so much, why'd you keep lighting the grass on fire around there? So
listen, that was not my fault. Like
Matt Benedetto was really upset with you.
Yeah.
He almost burned his foot off.
So that was so weird. So I'll go behind the curtain. I know, Taylor, you got to go in just a little bit, but I'll say this really, really fast. So we go to the care center. He does interview with TV, and then he starts walking. So Jason Toy of MRN and I, we walk with him. He does interview with MRN. And then a crew guy comes up to him. He's like, hey, I think we can get out there. And so I'm like, hey, can I have like 30 seconds? So I interview him for like 30 seconds. And then whether it's PR guy or someone grabs his helmet and is like, hey, let's go back out on the track. So like he literally goes to the care center, and then like 10 minutes later, he's back out onto the track. Super weird. Never had that happen. But very, very odd. Taylor, I know you got to bounce in just a little bit, but I wanted to get your thoughts on our final topic, the Xfinity Series cutoff. Last race to make the playoffs is this weekend in Gateway Worldwide Technology, however the hell you want to call it. There's like 18 different names. It's like IRP, ORP. I just call it Indianapolis Raceway Park. But in Gateway, you have Harrison Burton plus 31, Jeb Burton minus 31. Does that stay the same? Do we get a new winner? What do we see coming out of Gateway?
I mean, for me, Gateway is a track that is so strong for the Fords. At least that's really how it's been in the Cup Series, at least. And I mean, I kind of see that being the same for this case. I think Harrison, I honestly think it's going to stay the same. I think Harrison's going to be above the cutoff line. I don't see a new winner, especially at a track like Gateway. I could be wrong. We've seen drama there before. But I think we're going to see Harrison get that playoff spot. And just crazy to talk about the turnaround for AM Racing, right? I talked to Jeff Burton this weekend, actually asking him about this. It's like, there's a little drama there between Harrison and Jeb, and how has that been, and kind of navigating that. And I mean, he says it's been fun, it's been challenging. You have those conversations, but to talk about where that team for AM Racing at least has been last year to this year with Harrison, and Obviously a little bit of a chip on his shoulder from, I don't want to say getting demoted, but, moving from Cup to Xfinity. He has something to prove, right? So I think it'd be great if he made the playoffs. I think he can. I think he will. I don't see anything changing. Now, it could be a cool story to see Ryan Sieg get a win. I don't know if that's going to happen this weekend. I don't think, but anything could happen. But I think this is the picture we got.
It feels like Sieg is just so close, like every
He's so close.
so much, and yet he does not get it. Taylor, we know you got to run, so promote your work, what you're going to be doing, and then where can fans see you at the upcoming race? What is your next race?
Yes, so make sure to follow me on all socials at A2IL Media, at Above the Yellow Line, also this, and then of course now at Motorsport. So a little bit of everywhere, but if you want to just find all of our places or all of our social medias in one place, just go to AboveTheYellowLine.com. And the next race I will be at will be, I guess, the Roval. So next month. So I'll be at the Roval. And yeah, again, AboveTheYellowLine.com. But thank you all so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Once again, Taylor Kitchen from motorsports.com, as well as Above the Yellow Line Media, joining the program. Big thanks to Taylor. Big thanks to Trenton Worsham for getting her onto the program on a little bit of a late notice. But gentlemen, let's dive on in to more of this for Massie. I'll start with you. What does anything change? Obviously, Carson Kvapil is locked in on points. Sheldon Creed's plus 65, Taylor Gray's plus 60, and then Harrison Burton is plus 31. I do got to mention this really fast. I was talking to Jeb Burton yesterday or on Saturday, and he was saying something along the lines of, Harrison was having a terrible day, but then he came in and got tires before that overtime restart and he finished 12th. I guess he just got a golden horseshoe up his ass like Kevin Harvick did. And I was like, Jeb, I don't think that's true, but that's okay. Sure, you can go ahead and say that. But does anything really change heading into Gateway?
So 31 points. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, 31.
I think Harris would have to have a problem early and not finish the race. And Jeb would have to, be top 10 pretty much. So it seems pretty insurmountable. Somebody's probably going to have to win. The one guy I'm kind of looking at as a possibility to maybe go in there and win is somebody who won a lot of truck races last year and who got a top 5 at Portland this past week and has had some pretty good speed lately. And, colleague hasn't won this year, but I think Christian Eckes, if anybody below that cut line can go into Gateway and get the clutch win to get in the playoffs, that's the guy I'm looking at. I don't think it will happen, but I'm just saying if it does happen, that'll be the guy I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think I mostly agree with Massie. Christian Eckes, I was looking at him too, but I think I don't even think. I think it's going to come down to it's got to be a new winner. I think Harrison's mostly got this locked up. 31 points is a very, very healthy cushion to have. And I don't think Jeb is the kind of guy to overcome that, because even if Harrison Burton does have a problem early, Jeb's going to have the race of his life. He's going to have to still finish at least top 5 in both stages, which I don't think is going to happen unless there's some crazy pit strategy going on. And then he's going to have to maybe even contend for another top 5 at the race at the end of the race. It's going to be tough. That's a tall order for Jeb Burton for a Jordan Anderson racing car to fulfill. And I'm not knocking Jeb's talent or anything like that as a driver. I'm just saying that I don't think that car has the speed to compete to be able to overcome something like that. So I think it's got to be a new winner. And Massie, I do agree that Christian Eckes, I think, is probably one of the guys that I'd be looking at for a first-time winner. I think they're getting they've gotten a lot better. They've clearly improved a ton since the beginning of the year. Ryan Sieg, I'm always looking at, always looking at, because it feels like every single race, he's up there in the top 10, and you just think, and then there's been quite a few races this year where he's there at the end, and you're just like, maybe today's the day. Like maybe he can finally do it, and then he just doesn't do it, and then something terrible happens to him. So, what a cool way for him to, if he were to get a win, like this would be the one to do it. That'd be a really cool way to do it. But I'll mention one more guy, who's also been having a pretty solid year, or has gotten better as the year has progressed. And before I do introduce him, I want to actually like look at his stats, so I can actually give you an accurate look as to what he's been going through. So, it's William Sawalich in the 18. Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota.
Boom!
Like,
That's who I was gonna say.
I know that. Look, I mean, the fact that he is 19th in a Joe Gibbs Racing car just does not seem right. I don't think anybody expected him to be that low in the standings, driving the number 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, I know William Sawalich, he's a rookie. He's a very, very young kid, and he's kind of been thrusted into this Xfinity Series role. So nobody was probably expecting him to actually win a championship or anything like that, or make the round of 4. But still, I think everyone was expecting him to at least make the playoffs. So to see him this low in the standings is really surprising, but there's been no doubt he's gotten better. A lot of top 10s in the last few races. Portland finished 2nd. I mean, he was that close to finally getting that win and punching his ticket into the playoffs. Go back a little bit. Daytona 12th, not great. Watkins Glen, not a good race. Iowa 11th. Then we go to Indianapolis, 6th. Dover 9th. Sonoma 3rd. I mean, that's a pretty wide variety of tracks that he was getting top 10s at. So it's not like he's a one-hit wonder at the short tracks or a one-hit wonder at the road course races. He is all around gotten better at all the different various types of tracks. And I think Gateway is a place for them to maybe start to show their stuff. And not to mention, he's going to have the support of, what is it? Is it 3 other Joe Gibbs Racing cars? It's got to be. Yeah, it's 3 other Joe Gibbs Racing.
The 54 and the 19.
The 54 and the 19, right? So,
yep.
You got 3 other Joe Gibbs Racing cars that are going to be supporting you to make the playoffs. And Eric Almirola, obviously not a playoff, can't compete in the playoffs. That's a guy that's going to be up in the front, I guarantee. So, get some help there. Brandon Jones, Taylor Gray, who is in the playoffs. Like, it's a big deal for those guys. That's a really big deal for William Sawalich to have that kind of support behind him, knowing that he will have TRD, he will have the Joe Gibbs Racing Camp supporting him, giving all the best equipment, help push him on a final restart if he needs it, getting out of his way if he needs to win if he needs to win a race, needs to win the race and get into the playoffs. So, he's the outlier I'm looking at the most, I think. That said, has to be a new winner. I don't think Jeb Burton's going to overtake Harrison Burton in points.
Yeah, I think he still hasn't hit the brakes for turn 1 in Portland. William Sawalich.
Why would he? Going for a win. A win.
Ryan, you had a really interesting reason for picking William Sawalich. Well, why don't you share what you texted me a second ago?
I just think he's a good driver. I will leave it at that. You jackwagon.
Brian, why is it that you want Blaine Perkins? You think Blaine Perkins is
shout out my boy Blaine Perkins. Great. Hey, shout out Blaine Perkins. Shout out Jordan Anderson Racing.
Hey,
7th, 8th, and 9th.
His brother Jack was doing pretty good too before.
Why are you like this? Just why? I took it on a little bit, but no, they're not related. One's from Australia and one from like North Carolina. But
basically the same.
Sure, whatever.
It's a Bakersfield.
Sure. Whoops, my bad. Kyle Barton says, any chance Taylor Gray breaks through? Lots of heartbreaks this year, but a fast car. Yeah, he's definitely shown speed. I think he finished 2nd at Indy. I definitely think the win is going to be coming, whether it's going to be in the playoffs early next year. I definitely think it is sooner rather than later for him. But then again, we've said that about Sheldon Creed for like 5 years now, and that's never happened. So who knows? One guy that I do see winning is going to be Carson Kvapil sooner rather than later. So I don't think there will be a new winner. Sawalich, is gonna be up there, but I don't think anyone will overtake Harrison, and I think Harrison Burton will get the final position for the Xfinity Series playoffs before they head to Bristol to start their round of 12. Any final thoughts before we wrap this program up, gentlemen?
How do we do with our? We got 5 minutes to kill. How do we do with our picks for the Cup playoffs? I guess I think
brackets.
Yeah, I don't.
I didn't pick one, so you guys are on your own there. I wasn't here.
Let me
see one though.
Online on NASCAR.com, the World Wide Web.
Yeah,
I did not make one.
Oh, honey.
Here, okay. You know what? I'm gonna do this right now, live on the camera. On the camera. I'll do this right now.
I already know. Like,
well, you guys want it, so here it is.
I don't even. Worst part is I don't even remember what I picked.
Who gets?
I don't either, Massie.
So I think Barry gets eliminated. I think Bowman's in. I think Bowman's gonna be okay. He'll be fine. He'll come back.
I don't think so.
Great. I don't care. Barry's gonna get eliminated. I think Dylan's gonna get eliminated. I think SVG is gonna get eliminated. As much as I hate saying that because he's in my fantasy draft or whatever. Man, that leaves the last one, and I know everyone's been picking Austin Cindric, but I'm telling y'all right now to stop hating on Austin Cindric. I think the guy's gonna be just fine. I don't think it's eliminated. I think it's going to come down to either Joey Logano, maybe even Chase Elliott. Oh my God, I can't believe he just said that.
Yeah,
Why?
Hendrick has been bad.
They were bad at Darlington, and I don't know, man. Joey's got to win at Gateway, and Chase Elliott does not. So
I saw it earlier. Joey's got the best average finish at Gateway, 3 top 5s.
I've got more confidence in a Team Penske car right now than I do with a Hendrick Motorsports car, and that is
wild. That is
crazy.
That is
saying a lot. Yeah. So,
in the words of Bryan Nolen, that is nuttier than a peanut butter factory.
It makes more sense than some of the other things you said, like the goose and the goblin factory.
You've said worse things. You said a lot worse things in group chats. Here, you know what? Let's go ahead and pull those up right now.
Okay. Trenton, mute his mic. Thank you. Mute his mic, Trenton.
Bryan Nolen.
I did want to say that. Why would you be surprised that he has more confidence in Penske than Hendrick when Penske's won like the last 3 championships?
Yeah. That's not
bad. Yeah, I mean, he kind of told you, Dalton.
He was telling you.
Oh.
He's saying, why would you be surprised?
But you said that, though.
I said that's saying a lot. I didn't say that I was surprised by it. You said you were surprised by it.
Well, I think people just expect HMS to be
Trenton, who are you dunking on?
Whoever said that it's surprising to say that they have more confidence in Penske than Hendrick at this point, because Penske's won the last 3 championships, so why wouldn't you have confidence in Penske?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Bryan Nolen. So, so here's some things that he said in the group chats in the last few days. So, Bryan Nolen, you were supposed to cut me off there. You're supposed to cut me off here.
Trenton, mute the mic, Trenton.
You're all muted. How about that?
I hate everybody. It just goes way downhill.
I hate everybody. But last but not least, getting ready for Gateway, gentlemen. You will be there. What should we expect at Gateway?
Whole lot of content. We're gonna be getting drivers. We're gonna be talking to drivers. They're gonna be like, "Hey guys, who are you?" And we're gonna be like, "I'm Dalton," and I'll be pointing over to Massie, and I'll be like, "That's Massie," and then they'll be like, "Wow, we don't care," and then they'll give us some interesting answers about how they feel about the playoffs. We'll be like, "Hey, how do you feel about the playoffs?" And they'll be like, "It sucks, and I'm really stressed out," and that'll be the story. But aside from that. We will be coming out with some great content on Saturday and Sunday. Some great stories, some videos as well. We'll be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So look out for that on our YouTube page. Look out for that on funstretch.com as well.
I think that was absolutely marvelous.
Yeah.
Michael Massie, are you going to be riding Fire on Fridays, or are you just saving all your riding for the track?
Save it for the track, but I wrote one this past week about the lawsuit.
Oh, it was good.
That you should check out. Fire on Fridays is the column. And I had a bunch of content from this past week at both Florence for Cars Tour and Darlington for Southern 500 and the truck race as well. So look for all that on frontstretch.com and the Front Stretch YouTube page and the Front Stretch Grassroots YouTube page. And then I'll be with Dalton as well this weekend at Gateway.
If y'all see us with drinks in our hands on Friday night, come on over and say hi. And then talk about how much you hate Bryan Nolen's voice.
And if you do, make sure you send them a video so they can send it to me, and we will shout you out on this program, because that is how much we love all our fans, good or bad. Anytime you talk about us is all good in my book. With that being said, I was in Portland last week. Great time. So check out all of my videos on the Front Stretch YouTube channel, youtube.com/frontstretch. Once again, frontstretch.com for all the latest content. Michael Massie, Dalton, Hopkins. They're going to be in St. Louis Gateway for Worldwide Technology at Gateway. So check out all of their great content. And big thanks to Trenton Worsham, our great producer. Big thanks to Michael Massie. Mr. Dalton Hopkins. Coming up next on the Front Stretch Podcast Network, we got Bring In the Heat with Trey Lyle, and then we got Through the Gears, and cannot forget about Stock Car Scoop with the talented stud, that being Caleb Barnes. Big thanks to all of our comments. Shout out to Kyle Martin as well. He contributed the entire time. For Dalton Hopkins, for Michael Massie, I am Bryan Timothy, Dale Nolen. This was another edition of the Front Stretch Happy Hour program. We'll talk with you next Tuesday here on YouTube.